I'm Jake Bruton, and today on the Build Show, I want to talk to you about a 1,200-pound lift and slide door that we installed this week at our Hilltop Arrow house. So this window is, or this door rather, is from a company called Alupro. We sourced these through European Architectural Supply in Boston, Massachusetts, and that's kind of where we've bought all of our windows for the last few years through Arrow Building. Everything that we've done that's triple glazed has come through European Architectural Supply. This is our first time working with Alupro. They are an aluminum, and they're thermally broken. So the cross-section cutaway of this, it's just a ton of little chambers that stop out here from being in there and stop that conduction, that heat loss or heat flow. The interesting thing, just from a design perspective, these aluminum units are incredibly clean and nice and simple looking. There's not a lot of extra profile. When you get UPVC windows from Europe, they tend to be slightly chunky looking. We resolve that by scaling the windows up because we have that ability in our designs. We can just put in bigger windows so that the stiles and rails don't look too big. But if we were going to try to do a 3-foot by 3-foot window, they might. With the aluminum ones, we don't have that. They are a little cleaner. The other design thing that I think is awesome is the window industry and a couple other industries in Europe operate on raw color, RAL. It is a standardized system. I think it's 275 colors or something like that, where I can order windows, doors, pan flashings or extension jambs, soffit metal. I can order all sorts of things from different manufacturers, and it's all a standardized color. So I can get extension jambs from another manufacturer for these and then match and be the same color. And believe it or not, that 260, 270 colors, that's enough when we're talking about houses. We don't need 75 different choices for blue. We just need a variety of choices for blue or for gray. And these are anthracite in color. So let's talk about how we got this thing here. The process with European Architectural Supply, we send them Steve Basic's drawing. He's the partner on the Hilltop house here. And they send it through their software, and we get a, yeah, that works, no, that doesn't work. And if it works, we get shop drawings. So then we get to approve shop drawings. We get to go through a process that we almost never get with American manufacturers of windows. When is the last time you got shop drawings from your local window distributor? They just go, okay, yeah, we know what size you want based off your plans. We'll send you those windows. So these guys are really making sure that we're not going to get something we don't want. Everything is noted on the plans. We're lift and slide, the handing, the hardware, all the stuff that you would normally think. And then all that's taken and put into the shop drawings. We review, the architect reviews, we approve, and then weeks later we get a container on site. The container for this set of windows was actually, the door and the container were shorter than this lift and slide door. So that door was packed in the container at an angle, and we actually used a crane with a glazing attachment even just to drag this thing out of there because, and you'll see when we move inside, we ask European Architectural Supply on our fenestration stickers to give us the weight of the unit, and this thing was 1,200 pounds or 1,060, something like that. That is not a window that you just be strong and move by yourself. That's something that we have to be very careful and we have to plan for because we want to do everything as safe as we possibly can, and we're not trying to put anybody at risk, but a 1,200-pound door falling on somebody would be a great risk. So we have a crane with a glazing attachment. It helps us get out of the container. We used a 2-ton delivery truck from our lumberyard Meeks. We backed it up to that container. We used it as a flatbed, and then we were able to use the crane and glazing attachment to swing this unit into place. And actually, I was really lucky that we had framing completed on this project, ready for windows. We actually have a little bit more spray foam to take place, so it looks like framing might be not done yet, but it is. And we had pictures to the distributor, to European Architectural Supply, and he said, hey, have you thought about how you're getting that door in there yet? Because it looks like those pieces of railing on that deck are welded instead of bolted in place. And I went, oh, shoot. So we actually, the window that you can see through the door, we cut it the opening down and we slid through the side. So they are looking out for us every step of the way, in other words. They've been a great help for us. They're an incredible asset, and I recommend checking them out if you're looking for high-performance windows. Let's talk about how the lift and slide works. It still has a drainage pan in the bottom of it like windows would, so any water that gets in behind the glazing on the fixed or the movable side still finds its way into a sill, and we have weep holes down low that then push the water to the outside. We're waterproofed underneath this door with liquid flash and out and onto our zip. And then actually this is the only one on this house that we're going to do this way, but because we're under this big opening, or big overhang rather, I think it's 12 feet, we're going to tape all 4 faces of this in an effort to just stop any water from getting in, and we're going to face seal that system. I know a lot of people panic when you say that. We're using a vapor open tape. There's a void so that anything that gets in there can find its way out over time through diffusion. I don't think we're ever going to get any water on this unit anyway. It's really well covered. So let's swing inside and we'll talk about how this thing actually functions. So that unit that I just slid with that little effort is probably about 400 pounds. And that thing slides like you wouldn't believe. I've installed cost-effective vinyl sliders, patio sliders, that were half this width that still were very difficult to operate. So the reason we're inside now is we want to talk about air sealing, or this unit's air sealing and its weather stripping. So everything functions off of this handle. When we crank the handle down, the door actually lifts up and then it's on its rollers. If I then set the door down, it's pretty darn difficult for me to move. You know, if I wanted to leave it like that so that my cat can't get outside, that would be perfectly acceptable. It does have a multi-point lock system here where it pulls itself towards the jamb to seal horizontally into that weather stripping. The interesting thing up top is it just has weather stripping on either side of the movable pane or movable sash. And that means whether the door is up or down, the weather stripping at the top still functions exactly the same. The interesting part where we get a good seal is when the door sits, it actually just sits on a piece of weather stripping. So it's always sealed at the top because it's just traveling between the weather stripping, but at the bottom, it lifts up off its weather stripping and then it sits back down. And then just like the very cost-effective patio door, the vinyl patio door that you've seen a million times, we just have a locking system where the 2 panes, or the fixed and the movable, interlock with each other. The difference here is that's a heck of a lot deeper and it's got a lot more weather stripping in it. It's just not 2 pieces of vinyl that just hook together. So you can see here we're almost 1,100 pounds. We have really high performance. You know, we're an R10 glass. The interesting thing here is the visible transmittance number. The VT is 0.74. That means 74% of the light and what's out there is getting through visually to us. When you get to insulated glass this high from other manufacturers or from other glazing manufacturers, you don't get that VT number. It starts knocking things down, which means I paid for a 14-foot wide door that looks like it's dark outside because we can't see through there. So everything in this unit comes together to make one really cool, really interesting, architecturally significant point of the house that is efficient and durable and installed well. And now we have the best opportunity for success for this unit in particular. And I really got to say thanks to the people at Alupro and European Architectural Supply and our architect Steve for designing something pretty cool on this one. So check out lift and slide doors. Check out the European doors, because this is just a different thing than the American manufacturers. It's not to say they can't do it. I just haven't seen it from them yet. So stay tuned. From the Hilltop Aero House, we're going to have a lot more content coming on windows, doors, install details, those sorts of things. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and don't forget to check out Wade, Steve, Brent, and Matt putting stuff up every week, new content on the buildshownetwork.com. Thanks for watching.